Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 3 of Tamer Talk, an official Wildhearts podcast. I am Dawn, the brand manager, joined by Chase, the director of communication. How are you doing this week?
I am good. Hopefully, our power holds out. We did right before we started recording, lost power. We've had a crazy time. We had a tornado come through our town here in Texas and wiped a whole bunch of things out. So we had no power for a few days. Just absolutely crazy. But thankfully, like the tornado literally was coming at us. It dispersed, went over our house, and then hit the ground again like a mile away from us and then kept going. So wow, talk about lucky. Yeah, so hopefully, but we got rain for the rest of the week. Hopefully though, the power holds true for the rest of the recording here. How about you though?
Yes. Yeah, just been doing some game stuff and working. Not too much exciting things going on for me. Just kind of holding my own and trying to get through the daily grind of things. Uh we'll see if that continues, but nothing really exciting going on my end to report, especially nothing like what you have going on, Chase.
Yeah. I mean, count your blessings. I'd rather have nothing going on than tornadoes coming at me. So,
Yes, for sure.
all right. So we have a
But
lot
we
on the agenda today, though. Some really
we do.
exciting TCG stuff. I know we haven't talked about the TCG yet much on the channel, so or on the
Yeah.
podcast. So
Yeah. We kind of kicked this podcast off right before our Academy Kickstarter went live. So now that is over with, we're going to be switching gears and talking about the card game here. And, one thing that I want to mention before we get too far as well is that not only do we have some changes for like these card backs and the card game, we're going to be going over some graphic design changes for all of the cards, the front face of the cards as well. But we also have a special reveal, a card reveal for you all as well. We're going to be revealing a new familiar, which actually might be out in the wild somewhere. There should be a couple copies at least of the card that we're going to reveal from people that did purchase that through the Kickstarter for Foundations earlier this year. So, there might be a couple people that actually do have this card that we're going to reveal, but it's going to be more of an official reveal here for you all as well. So, pretty excited to show that off.
yeah, it was one of the four mystery familiars. We had the other three revealed, but no one ever showed off this one that we're gonna be talking about. So it's just like, oh, come on, somebody out there, share it so that way we can all bask in its glory. So I'm very excited to show it off. There's been many, I know what it is, and there's been many games I played where I'm like, I wish I had this familiar. This familiar would be great right now. So yeah, definitely stay tuned for that.
The first thing that we want to mention, we do have a card back that kind of goes along with that as well, if you would be so kind as to pull that up, Chase. But the very first thing that we really want to talk about is the fact that we're going to be spelling out trading card game. It's no longer going to be just the abbreviations TCG. There's a couple reasons for that, but sometimes people do actually have some confusion on whether that means the card game or trading card game. And we just wanted to actually spell it out so that people know exactly what this is, and that is trading card game.
Absolutely, yeah. And it's kind of like I wouldn't say quite an industry standard, but pretty close to it. A lot of the trading card games do it. Just so, yeah, you don't have any of that confusion or anything like that. Especially if you want to bring in new people, maybe people that haven't played card games before, and they're like, well, what is this? It's like, well, we're going to make it as plain and simple as possible for everyone, just so that we can be as encompassing as possible.
Yeah, that's right. So that card back will show that going forward. It's going to be changed, as we mentioned, from TCG to trading card game. So fully spelled out there for you, including on the cards going forward now.
Yeah, so we've got, let me switch over here. So we've got the fields as well. And switch to a sideways view for you guys. So the fields as well going to have trading card game on them, as well as the judges deck. So they're all going to say trading card game now. So just to make it again as encompassing as possible for everyone, no matter what card you're picking up. We want to make it very clear of what it is, right? What kind of game it is.
I love these different card backs too. Just
Mm-hmm.
the judge's whistle and the kind of compass for like representing like location and locating for the fields. Just fantastic look. I love those.
Right, and also on the switch back over here for the regular card back, there was a little bit of some design changes. The heart is now a little bit bigger, so really get that Wildhearts emblem going for you guys, so you can really see it. So that's a little bit more important than seeing just a whole lot of card back. And the stars are great. I love the stars and everything like that. That whole purple design is just chef's kiss. But having that heart be a little bit more front and center, I like that. It's just such a subtle change, but I don't know, I really appreciate it.
Yes, absolutely. Agreed there. Yeah. So let's take a minute to talk about these graphic design changes and the look of the cards, and kind of like why we're doing this, because there's a couple reasons for it. But I would say one of the biggest reasons is to kind of differentiate ourselves and make our cards look unique to Wild Hearts and maybe less like other card games. That's something that's I feel like becoming a little bit more difficult as more and more card games come out, is how not to make all of the card games look alike. But we're definitely trying something different with this graphic design that we're going to be showing off. So, Chase, what do you think about the graphic design changes overall and kind of why we're doing them?
So at first, I was a little on the fence. I was like, that seems really drastic. Like, I never seen this in a TCG or really any kind of card game that I played. But then, like, the more and more I thought about it and we talked, I was like, man, this is so different. Like, it's just a simple thing, graphic design on the cards and like kind of how they look. But yeah, the more we talked about it, it's like, man, that is so unique. It's so different. It just makes the cards pop like, whoa, what is this? I literally have gotten into a TCG in the past, and I was just like, man, the graphic design on this is so good. I just want to play this game because the graphic design is great. And that's kind of how I feel about these changes here, is that they just make the cards like, wow, okay, this is cool. What is this? I wanna know.
Yeah, and there's a few different designs that really, as you said, make the cards pop and make each thing feel different and unique within the graphic design as well. So that's really interesting to me, is how the art team was able to kind of create that a unique design that fits Wild Hearts, but also that is different within each of the different kind of categories of cards within Wild Hearts as well. So that's really interesting to me, and I'm very excited about that aspect, that you'll really kind of be able to tell just at a quick glance what different cards are. That's something that I've appreciated in other card games as well, other trading card games, other collectible card games, is when you can quickly just glance at a card and kind of know what it is, based on either the artwork of the card or some sort of other indicator as well. That helps from a caster standpoint. I've done a lot of casting for card games, that being able to just quickly look at a card and know what it is based on those kind of graphic design indications or art indications, helps out a lot when doing that. But being able to, from a player standpoint, being able to play cards out more quickly and recognize what cards are on the other side of the table just by those graphic design as well, helps out a lot in many cases. So I'm excited for that aspect of it.
For sure, as well as deck building, right? When you're, in regards to all of our different styles, being able to quickly identify, like, okay, I need out. There's all my ferocity cards. Like, this is easy to find. So yeah, but I think enough. Let's actually show them what we're talking about, right? What do we want to
Right.
show? Which familiar? Who you looking at?
Let's show off. What? If I'm picking my favorite. Let's go ferocity. Let's
All
show
right.
the Infernander.
Let's do it. All right. There you go. So yeah, we got some cool little stylized stuff going on the sides here with the that purple. Now there was a couple different reasons for this. Yes, we absolutely want to show off how the styles are different, right? Quick glance, boom, purple. Yeah, okay. I don't have to look for just the symbol anymore to know which style I'm in, right? There's like multiple different cues that let me know that. But one of the big things we were looking at initially was going for a white border. We have the black borders in foundations, and we just decided, maybe something a little different. White really made these numbers pop, like the cost as well as the power. Like they just like the white made them stand out so much more differentiated. I know it's a little subtle thing, but just around the circle for the 4 power there, that little white line just separating it from the artwork was great, like super appreciated. And you'll notice on the left side, we'll get to it then when we get to our other cards for cost, but the cost works the same way there with that white border, because the white is at the top for both, but then you got those purple slashes at the bottom, where things aren't as important to like stand out, so they themselves stand out to really show off the style, and yeah, just so that way it just pops. It just like, wow, it just, instead of having a bunch of white blankness, now we've got some cool color pop as well as easy identifier for the style.
Yeah, I personally really love this mix of the white and the color. Typically, I'm not a fan in card games of white borders. I don't know. There's just something about it that seems either plain to me or something, and it just doesn't seem to make the card stand out as much. But with this color pop and the white, we printed out and did some testing, against the play mats and stuff, and these really just popped against the things behind them.
For sure. Yeah. I really, really appreciate it for sure. And that 4 is a little bit blurry on the screen there, but I promise you, whenever I look over on my other screen, it's super crisp. We also updated the symbols as well. Just some, growing pains of trying to figure stuff out, but there was so much more crisp now and clear. And let's go ahead and actually jump over to the allusion, because that's one of the biggest ones that I noticed a change on. For the symbol here, is we updated it and it's so much more clear. So anyone that's got foundations cards, you can compare the two, and like simple stuff like just that little circle of like the 4 little partial circles there, they're bigger, they're crisper, they actually can give a little bit more definition to everything. And that's across the board on all the 4 different styles. Is the symbols have been updated, so that way they're a lot sharper than they were before. And yeah, that's just kind of the case for a lot of this stuff. It's a whole lot crisper than it was in Foundations. And so yeah, really excited for just subtle things like that. It's not like a huge important thing, but you know what, it just makes it feel better. And so that's what I'm really really proud of, is stuff like that. But yeah, here we go. We got a tactics card for you guys. You can see that how we kind of updated that one as well. So it's got its own vibe, right, going for it. But you still got the white, so that way everything at the top pops, and then the sides, you got that identifier and fun stuff like that. So yeah, it's just, I really, really appreciate it. I know the white can be a little bit jarring for some people, but at the top there really does help it tremendously. Just visually, I mean, when a card is up in your hand, right, and you want to be able to see what you got going on. It's like, okay, here's my whatever style card, and then I can see the cost really easily. I can see the power really easily, and then when you play it out, and then you've got it, and then it doesn't like take away once it's actually out on the field. It doesn't, like, those numbers don't distract anymore. Up in the hand, perfect. But then out there, then the whole card just, it all blends, and it actually works out nicely. The numbers aren't distracting away from like the effects or the artwork or anything like that. So that in itself is a weird design challenge that I'm sure a lot of people don't consider, but it is one
Yeah.
of the things that we considered. So just to make it as nice as possible for everybody's viewing pleasure.
Yeah. One other thing that I really love about this design as well is at the top where it says familiar, and we'll see this on other cards as well, but it's actually in the same color and everything as well, so you can kind of see, if you're just looking at the top of the card, you can see what style it is, just based on that color, instead of it just being a white word across black, the black background that we had before. So, just those slight changes, those small things all together add up to make a really nice design, all together.
Yeah, and even the outline around the whole image, right, is in the style color as well. And it's a little bit difficult to see here, like on especially if you're watching on like your phone or something. But yeah, I can promise you that the outline around it is also in the style color. So just another little, little nod there. Let's switch over to show you guys the Ferritune as well. That I love the blue. The blue really pops for me. I'm a big fan. I'm also just a big fan of the
Yeah.
Ferritune. Like it's just a ferret with a spell
Yes.
book is just like what? I love this. Okay. So
Yes. Yeah. One thing that you might notice in some of this design as well is the previous design did have the kind of colored bar across the middle under the name of the card. And there was a little bit of design in that, right? The graphic design, the stylized design for each style. And that's kind of been taken and blown up even more. So that same design, like the blue kind of has these little like bubbles, this bubble design in it, and those have been translated as well into the design that come across on the borders as well. So it's not just a solid blue coloring. It actually is that full kind of design.
for sure, yeah, and that's we'll see that also with the like the main deck cards is like that the texture almost coincides with whatever the style is. So that's really nice. Also going back to the white. We will also have, we'll still have our full arts and our alternate arts, extended arts, that sort of stuff. So if you aren't a fan of this, there are alternatives. If you want to, get your hands on, the primo cards, the alt arts, and things like that, that is still an option as well. And we'll have our foil cards and things like that. So if it's not your thing, there will be alternatives to these cards. So just be aware of that as well. And like I'm a big full art fan for sure. Extended art's okay, but full art is my jam. So any opportunity to get some full art cards is great for me. Which you do lose out on that cool like unique aspect like that we have going on here with the the slash marks and stuff like that. But at the same time, I can't escape my past. I'm addicted to full arts. All right, let's grab that Chrism for you guys so you can go ahead and close out on all of the familiar changes here. So you got that nice green with the, I don't even know how to explain it. What is it, like a mosaic kind of style of that texture going on?
Way, I feel like to me they kind of remind me of leaves. It
Oh
reminds me
yeah,
of like leaves and the kind of patterns that you see on different tree leaves and stuff. So I think that fits very well with the green might theme.
I guess it's just a Rorschach. You just see what you want to see.
That it could be.
And yeah, and then we got the color there, like on the familiar is green, and it in all of the color choices, like even the tactics one that's kind of that orangish yellow, like they all stand out from the white, easy to read, got our outlines and stuff like that. So yeah, I really appreciate it. But I think it's time. Is it time to show off that familiar? I think it's time to show off that familiar.
Let's show it off. Yes.
All right.
Official reveal.
Boom. The Vesperoon. The Moonbat. It might not be exciting at first glance. I know we got bat fans out there for sure. But this debut is insane. All right, it's a 3-power debut. Trigger a friendly ally's debut effect in any field. Oh my gosh. So round 1, the value is low, right? Because you're not going to have any allies out there to trigger. but every round after that, especially in tactics, tactics has some great stuff. Lots of removal debut effects. Thinking about the Skyer, right? So that removal effect. So being able to send back a familiar or two of your opponent's ally cards. That, I mean, there's so many things. The adult being able to, KO something, tons of removal stuff. There's just so many things. Being able to get double triggers off of stuff like that. So before we had the owl, and the owl was like, oh, you could just play two of those guys. Well, the Vesperoon's like, well, you don't need to play two of them. You can actually have more diversity in your deck building. You don't have to worry about having two ofs. You can actually run one ofs, and we'll trigger them multiple times for you with the Vesperoon. So that's just crazy, crazy good. I love this guy. There's so many times I'm just like, man, I wish I had the Vesperoon. It's so good for like whatever the kind of synergy that I had going on in my deck.
Yeah, and I would say not only just within tactics, right? But depending on how you build your deck and what other style that you paired this tactics with, you can trigger some other really cool debut effects as well. So yeah, this one's really cool. It also has the tame and brave traits as well, so there could be a little bit of synergy that you want to use with the traits themselves as well. So definitely really cool card, really cool familiar.
Absolutely, yeah. And there's some other cards out there that haven't been revealed yet. We'll eventually get to them, but I'm like, oh wow, this guy with those cards, ooh, give me some victory points. Just like flood the victory points without even having to score field like 3 power. That's fine. That's fine. I'll get my VP another way. Like, yeah, it's there. Just wait, just wait. I'm sure people are already cooking up some ideas with this reveal. They're like, wow, I can just keep triggering my debut effects. This is fantastic. Yep. So very, very cool stuff. Let's go ahead and jump into some main deck cards. How about let's do this one in reverse of styles. So we'll start with the Ignition, I think, and then we'll end with Ferocity.
Sounds good.
All right, so we don't have the slashes this time, but we still have that textured style for you guys there. And it also, again, it helps differentiate, like, oh, this is clearly a different card than a familiar. Oh, this is an ally card. Okay, so all of the main deck cards are going to have, it's that kind of a slash, that one big slash mark from the bottom left to the upper right, which is the exact opposite of what we had for the familiars, which started in the top left and kind of went down to the right, bottom right. Just because, even whenever I was at locals and stuff like that teaching the game, people, they would be a little bit more confused on what an ally was versus a familiar versus a creature. And this is another one of those ways that's just like quick glance, like, oh, these guys are clearly different. Like, this border around them is, this one is different and all my others are like this. And it's like, okay, yeah, this is a familiar, these are all allies, or Tamer cards, and so on. So that is just a really appreciative thing, because it could have just as easily been from the top left to the bottom right, the same as the familiars, but as the solid. We could have even copied the slash marks if we wanted to, but I'm so glad that it was decided to do that really opposite style, but it's still in that same that mosaic, that leaf look, that texture is still the same. It's just presented in a little bit different way.
Yeah, exactly. And now that we've kind of shown the difference between an ally and a familiar, I want to mention I love that, as you said, the clear difference, because with Wildhearts, every round you bring your familiars back to your bench to replace them at the start of the next round. So it's just going to make it even easier to quickly differentiate, because there was sometimes where I had to like actually look, be like, oh wait, which one's my familiar that I'm bringing back to the bench? Oh yeah,
Yep.
okay, there it is. And now I can easily and quickly do that, which means that playing in person, playing for tournaments, all of that helps with speed of play as well. Which is definitely something that a lot of players, especially for tournaments, find very important. So for, when we're talking about organized play in the future, all of that, that helps too. So this is definitely something that is not just like, oh, let's change the design for the sake of changing the design. There's a lot of different reasons that actually go into that, and a lot of benefits from changing the designs and having different designs for each of the types of cards within the game.
Yeah, I mean that's a great point. Yeah, the speed for people that are not new to the game, right? If you're playing a tournament, I'm sure you're not like super fresh coming in, but those players that are playing at home or whatever, and they're just trying to learn the game, and they're like, oh my god, I played one game and it took like an hour, but this is just another way to help speed it up, right? Spend the longevity of your game like reading your cards and thinking up strategies. Don't be like, wait, which card do I pull back? Which one is it? Like, don't be that. You don't want that to be the time that you spend struggling through the game or trying to learn the game in general. Is like, oh, let's make, if we can speed it up where we can, to help players out. This is, I'm all for it, and I think we accomplished that exactly. Just it helps speed the game process up, where we can afford to. Yeah, so cool design change here. Also, the heart up there in the left, so the cost I talked about earlier, but it also really pops, super crisp. Just like with the updated symbols and the power, the heart cost is also very crisp and clear now. Really stands out. Go ahead and pull up the special for you. We've got the Pakera, so a little bit different. So the Ignition was a really white top left corner, and the Pakera is like the exact opposite, right? We have a really dark corner of the artwork, but we still have that white line that helps differentiate and helps it pop for you guys. So, and same for the power on the other side, all that fun stuff. And then we also, now you can see it, we have a support at the bottom of this one, and it follows that same that texture style like Dawn was talking about earlier. Is, yeah, this is a special, and you can see that the background here of the support area is, it coincides with that look and that design.
Yeah, it really stands out and pops, and I think the white helps that pop even more as well. So instead of it kind of the color blending in a little bit with the black, it really stands out with the white against it, and it's really easy to see. Again, with these ally cards, just like the familiars, the literal word ally is in the style color as well. The border, inside border, has the color as well of the style, so it all just really kind of stands out, makes it very easy to see what style you're applying for these cards.
Absolutely, yeah, and yeah, that white border there. Because if you didn't have that white border around that blue heart with that dark grayish brown, man, that would blur together so easily on your eyes. And now that white border is like, nope, I'm your barrier. I am your shield. So I will. I'm gonna help you as much as possible here. So yeah, really like that. Next up, we got our Alistair's Guide. Same thing. You got the that texture that's also there in the support area, and this one doesn't have a power cost, so you can kind of see where that image pushes out to the right still. Our cards, our artwork is designed to go beyond the borders, right? So when we want to do full arts or extended arts, whatever the case may be, there's still more artwork that expands beyond what you see here. And I think that's really great foresight on the artist and the design team of predicting, well, what if we want to make this an extended art or full art at some point? Well, let's go ahead and design the card, the artwork, with that in mind. So when we're ready to do that, we can just do it without having to go back and editing and stuff like that. Because we did have to do that at one point. Was like, oh, this would be a great full art. We never design the artwork to go that far, so then we had to go back and the art team had to add to a pre-existing image. And that your design style and your art style might change a little bit between when you made that card and then going back and doing that later. So I know that's a really kind of niche thing to talk about, but I mean it's true, and I like to try to be as clear and concise and forward with everybody as possible. So yeah,
Yeah.
just a quick little interesting tidbit there. And yeah, so everything still pops just like it does on everywhere else on all the other cards. Really, really appreciate that.
Yeah, I really love how the color pop on the outside really kind of works well with some of the art pieces as well. It's probably not going to work, or make some of the artwork pop necessarily as much as others. That's just going to depend on the card art. But I feel like for this one, for me, the Alistair's Guide, it really makes the whole piece come together really well too. Like for me, this art piece really makes the those borders feel like it's actually part of the card, like it's one whole piece, like it's meant to be that way. And I felt like that with the Pakera as well. That I think it was just the motion of kind of the wings being open, and then you have the edging that kind of accentuates that, just makes it feel like it's just part of the card, like it's always been that way. So beautiful design in my opinion.
Oh right, yeah. Pulled up the Picare for everyone so they can see what you're talking about there. Yeah, just very very well done. It works so great with all the different styles. We'll pull up our last one here with Momentum Shift. Great card. I love me some Ferocity. I love, so we went back and forth a lot on the texture for Ferocity, and I'm really happy where we settled because like the purple and the Wildhearts theme, they kind of go hand in hand a whole lot. Our card backs. I mean, literally look at our set here that we have on the podcast. In our purple theme and stuff like that. And I really appreciate how it kind of went a little more hand in hand. We could have gone like super drastic with some of the different choices, and it didn't flow with the Wildhearts theme, I don't think, as much. And so I'm really happy where we settled with this little popping texture that we've got going on here. So I like it.
Yeah, I love this as well. And I think this might be an example of an art that doesn't feel like um, it doesn't fit necessarily as much with the outside, like the spread wings or kind of the open book did. But that's okay because, again, each art piece is going to be completely different, and the art is going to be different than the graphic design. So I'm bringing this up because I just want to make it clear to everybody that the actual art pieces of each card is not what we're talking about in this episode. We're talking about the actual graphic design of the outside of the cards. But I do like how some of the art pieces kind of accentuate it, make it feel like it's part of the card. And then some of them, to me, this one makes it more where it kind of is the background and the card art itself is the main focus. So I think this design is just so beautifully done by the art team. So I love it.
For sure, yeah. And I still keep going back to those the textures being unique for all four different
Each one.
styles
Yeah.
is so great because it could have just been the same texture but a different color on all the different ones. But no, like the art team went that extra mile, made each style have their own unique texture that goes with them. So, and again, this is the bleed. So, some of this might be get trimmed down a little bit when the card is printed. You'll lose some of this, that texture element, but especially for supports, it's still going to be there. Especially in supports, it's going to be super prominent, that texture. So just being able to take that and then apply it also to that border spread as well, like what that is. Like even if it gets trimmed down a little bit, because of all your supports that are in your style, you're going to know what that texture is for that area as well. Like it's going to be pretty obvious. So yeah, I think it's pretty fantastic. I love this change. It's I appreciate it so much. Again, I was so on the fence about it at first. I'm like, that's real different. I don't know how I feel about that. And then like really seeing it and like, no, like this makes it feel so much more unique. I'm so on board with just the uniqueness of the whole idea here.
Yes. Well, I think that's actually a good segue. Speaking of unique, one thing that makes Wild Hearts unique from other card games is that instead of kind of attacking the other player, you're actually fighting for those fields and the three zones, the 3 fields, and trying to get the most victory points in those fields. So let's talk about the fields next, and show those, because those are going to be, again, something that are different from the other cards and they look different. And if there's during cleanup or when you're switching things out, there's no confusion as to accidentally get a field mixed up. They already have the different card back, which we showed earlier, that kind of compass, but they also did get a redesign and a new design change as well. So let's talk about Windy Plateau.
Got it pulled up for you guys so you can go ahead and see again. Sticking with that whole like making things pop. I know I struggled with the victory point icon there. Sometimes it would blend in like really heavily with those like the white backgrounds, the white sky, super bright white skies, cloudy, whatever the case is. And I would lose it kind of, like I know it was there and I know I could find it. But having this white outline here with the brown as well, right? So you have the white and then the brown that goes around the whole image there, just makes that victory point symbol stand out and pop. And oh gosh, I will appreciate this moving forward, probably more so than a lot of the other like white outlines around power and cost and stuff. On the victory points, I'm really gonna appreciate it, I think, a lot.
Yeah. And again, I just love how this is another different, it's got its own color, its own kind of theme to it for the fields. It's got its own pattern and design, within that brown coloring. So its own style. And one thing that I love personally is the kind of addition to where it says landmark and dangerous. It adds in that compass from the back. So I just kind of love that change, and it really just makes it stand out. It makes it unique to its own. It's a field. It's not going to accidentally get mixed up with something else, and then you have to go and find it from the card back difference. You can actually see it from the front and differentiate it as well.
Yeah, the like it's sideways in itself, right? Like already, that should be a big clue. But the judges' cards are sideways as well. The backs being different should help. But also on the front side, we've got so many different elements to help people out. I feel like to help keep it different. But at the same time, like we could have just left this completely white without anything. But then it's like, well, we did all this work on the others. Let's just carry through with the design, and it doesn't hurt to include it at all. It just it can only elevate it and only help it. That white in the top left where the victory point area is, but then you have like the dark where you would have just a big old white plain border that's just kind of meh. Let's just spice it up a little bit for you guys, right? But because we went with the brown, we actually changed up the text area. So whether it's going to be, flavor text like we have here, or it's a field effect that we have on some of our other cards, instead of the slate background, we went with that parchment look there. And it's so much easier on the eyes than having that gray slate with this dark brown border was a little jarring to the eyes and to just to your brain in general. So having this like a softer parchment with that brown outline, only on the fields, we want to be as consistent as possible. So we left it. Everything else is still the slate gray look, but just for fields we went back to that parchment look. And I know the parchment look can be a lot of debate about, oh, you're copying such and such game. Like a lot of TCGs have parchment as their the style for their background for where they have text and stuff like that. But you know what, we don't want to deal with anything like that. We want to be our own game, but because it's the fields, it's sideways, it's a whole lot different of a card. It made sense to do it here, and it just looks so much better. So I'm glad we came to an agreement on this one.
Yeah, and I think because of all of the brown, it's all brown, but in a way it's different colors of brown, different shades of brown. It's kind of different. There's that texture again in the border. All of that I think just makes the compass in the middle there stand out even more, because it was in the original design. I do want to make that clear. That was the kind of compass coming across in the middle was in the original design as well. That was what we had previously, but it did kind of blend in a little bit. It didn't stand out quite as much, but because of kind of the different browns, the little bit of the blue and the yellow and stuff really pop out a little bit more, at least to me in this design. So it makes it that much more noticeable. And again, just something to differentiate it from other card games, from other cards on the table within Wild Hearts. Just makes it its own thing.
For sure. And like talking about subtle stuff, we've got our inspiration up next here. And so the front side is still, like it was. We do have the white border around here. We still have, everything is still pretty much the same on the front with a little bit of design updates to it, right? Some subtle stuff. But we also went ahead and changed the back because I know it can be a little bit confusing at times for some people for the mastery, for the inspiration here. When you flip it over, right? It's like, well, what happens to it? Am I turning it sideways for like a support effect? No, it literally says flip it over. And they're like, well, what happens? Do I just lose it? Is it not a resource anymore? And then this is just like, no, it's still here. It's still in play. You just don't have that little bit of text there. You don't have that effect anymore, but it's still a mastery card. It's still your inspiration. It's still in play. And yeah, it was just a nice little extra bit. There's no harm in updating it like this, right? And you don't want to have that, maybe don't want to have that same back as, the fields, as the judge deck, as the deck cards, right? And I think that's what we had it before, is the same as the deck cards. And you could lose it in your deck there if you weren't careful. But now
I've done it.
if you
I've shuffled it back into my deck and then
gosh.
started the next game and went, oops, what is it? Because then I drew it and I was like, oh, this wasn't supposed to be in my deck. So, yep, now with it being double-sided, it's not going to get mixed in with your other cards when you go to reshuffle your deck. It stands out, and there's some future proofing for this as well. Some cool things that the design team can do with making this double-sided as well. So I'm very excited for that.
Oh man, where was that spoiler tag?
I know. Put it in there.
Yep. Very, very cool though. So yeah, really so much. Yeah, the future proofing. I love that because I give that credit to, the design team in general. It's like, well, do we really need this? To, for our ideas and stuff like that. I'm like, well, if you do it this way, then we get the future proofing. And then, so that's been one of those topics that's like, it's never at the forefront, but when it gets brought up, whoever brings it up in the whole team, we're like, oh yeah, future proofing. Let's any opportunity to do some future proofing is great. I feel like so. Yeah, I really, really appreciate that. I just already like gives me ideas. I'm like, wow, what could we do with that? Like, oh, once you spend it and it flips over, and then we have like a continuous effect or something like that. Or what about a mastery card that flips back and forth a whole bunch throughout the whole game?
Our card game player brains are going with that, right? Like
for
we're thinking,
sure.
oh, what can happen? What can happen next? Yeah, as of just like immediate effects, again, I'm happy because now I won't accidentally shuffle it back into my deck because yeah, I have done that. I did do the print and play and printed it out and mixed it in. Oops.
Rip. Yeah. So usually I like to use just for general stuff. I like to use different colored sleeves for different things, right? For my own personal cards. But whenever I'm doing like making content for Wild Hearts, I like to use clear sleeves because I like to show off the card back. I like to show off all these different things that like the art team put in all this different work. We have all these unique backs. I want to show them off, right? I don't want just plain matte sleeves when I'm making content. So having this being double-sided for that is great. So, and even people in the future, if you're using different colored sleeves to help keep these guys, all your different stuff, your familiars, your fields, and all that stuff separate, this would be a great one to throw into a clear sleeve because I always hate having to like take a card out, flip it around, and then put it back in. And it's like, okay, it's transformed now. And having a clear sleeve just kind of alleviates the need for that. And so having this in a clear
Yeah.
sleeve is just, yeah, it just makes a whole lot of sense for me. So again, you shouldn't get shuffled back in no matter what way you go for sleeves or no sleeves.
So I think is that it that we have to show off? That was a lot. It was a lot.
It was a lot. Yeah. I mean, we're at almost an hour recorded. I know it's going to get trimmed down. But yeah, there's a whole lot of cards, a whole lot of updates. You know, the graphic design changes, the Vesperoon reveal, right? You know, the inspiration changes. I know as, you know, hardcore TCG players, you know, in a past life or on the side still, Wildhearts has definitely taken over my life here, but the TCG brain is just cooking with all the different stuff that's going on here. You know, new familiars being revealed, new possibilities of mastery cards in the future. Like, oh, what a great time to get into a fresh TCG and to see that this fresh TCG is willing to be like, no, we like to keep it fresh and do all these different things for you guys. It's just a great feeling.
Yes, yeah. And I do want to mention a couple of things as well for everybody. Anybody, I think we mentioned this earlier, but I'm going to repeat it just in case it was not on the recording. Anybody that did purchase the demo decks from the Academy Kickstarter, you will have all of these new designs in those demo decks. So you can look forward to seeing all of those changes in person. Um, Actually, I did just realize there's one more that we haven't shown off as well. And that is the Challenger cards, because those have a unique design as well. But yeah, so if you have the demo decks, those will be different. You can also check out the new designs in the Tabletopia mod or in the print and play. The print and plays are going to be updated. They will say like sample or demo or something on them as well, so that you can actually, you'll know that that's not like a valid deck, so people can't just kind of like print out and play for tournaments and stuff. But they will be updated with full color and these new designs as well. So if you want to check out these new designs and print them out for yourself, see how they look on, you know, on your table or on a play mat, or if you just want to try out the game and, you know, getting into the game with this new design seems like a good point, you know, a starting point, then definitely the print and plays, like I said, will be updated, or you can check it out for free on the Tabletopia mod. That mod will also be updated with all of these new graphic designs as well.
Yeah, that's really cool. I really appreciate that. Just having it like immediately available. As soon as we talk about it, it's like, oh, and here it is. But yeah, you were talking about the Tamer challenges. Here, I went ahead and got Valentina pulled up for us. We could see that new border is just like an explosion of color and beautifulness. Like, oh my gosh, I love it so much. And that's one of the things people often ask. All right, well, can I include these cards in like my regular deck? And it's like, no, these cards are specifically for the Tamer challenges. And then this is going to be a great, like, clearly this is for the Tamer challenges. Like, there's no way you're mistaking this border for any of the other ones.
Yes. And I love how it fits with Valentina's kind of theme and just the spirit of Valentina as well, like with the coloring and the theme. Um, so yeah, it really fits. But yeah, these Tamer challenges are kind of the solo player mode for Wildhearts. So it's really great as well, because then again, when you go to clean up as well, you're not accidentally mixing up your cards with, you know, the Tamer challenge cards. It's really easy to differentiate, you know, what card is what. And yeah, that's very exciting as well.
For sure. Yeah. And this is one of those things that I hope they continue on, like making every Tamer challenge like their borders unique. Like, because we've got some others, you know, every set is going to have its own Tamer challenges. Like, that's been public knowledge for a while now. Something we want to continue on and, you know, keep making more and more diverse. But each Tamer challenge deck is unique to them. There's no mixing and matching or anything like that. They very much are designed to be played together, right? All these cards and stuff like that. So having every border being unique to that Tamer challenge, I think is great. Even if they keep like the same texture and the starburst effect, right? But having, the color being more applicable to that Tamer challenge is something I really hope they do. And I'm sure they will. Like, I have full faith in the art team and the design team, the graphic design team, like everybody working together and on all of our ideas, right? Like, me as the director of communication, I can be like, we can all work in together and be like, hey, how about this idea? And everybody is so supportive of like, blending over everyone's fields of like what we all do in the team, and then we can all like like lines are blurred in the whole design of everything. It's like, hey, I've got this idea. What do you think? And I'm like, yeah, let's do that. That sounds great. So that's one of those things that I'm like, I really hope that they make everything, because she's all about the mesa and the plateaus and stuff like that. So having that orange really makes sense there. But say we got a Tamer challenge, this is completely off the cuff. I don't know if this is even going to happen, but like a water themed one, right? And having like that blue effect, maybe like some bubbles or something like that. Similar to like the special. Where we have the bubbles as a texture, like something like that as the border would be cool. So
Yeah, I love the design changes overall, and I think it's definitely unique. Again, as someone who isn't necessarily a fan of the just white borders, I think the white with the color really pops and makes it stand out. It makes the styles within the game stand out even more, and I think it's just I'm really impressed and happy with the theme of this design change myself. So I hope that many of you are as well and are excited to try it out. And even if you don't play, but just go into the Tabletopia mod and check it out and see the design changes for yourself, just to see what they look like. Definitely, let us know what you think and which design is your favorites.
yeah, and you can get links to all these things in our Discord. There at the bottom, there we have the at discord.gg 2FASXW8 S5U for anyone that's not watching and is only listening. You can go ahead and join the Discord there, and there's gonna be links to the mod and the print and plays and things like that. And also, just before I don't want to forget here, but we will have our Kickstarter for the core set coming out later this, I believe, sometime later this year. I don't want to commit too hard on a time because I'm not in 100% certain, but yeah, we have our Kickstarter here as well that you can go ahead and follow. It's our core set here, so just something to kind of keep in mind there.
Yes, absolutely. And we'll continue talking more about the trading card game in these episodes as we go. So if there is anything that you want to know about, any questions that you have, let us know, because we'd love to be able to answer those questions and talk more about the things that you all want to hear about, as much as we can. So let us know, join the Discord and let us know. Drop comments on the YouTube videos, anything, anywhere that you can reach us. Let us know as well. We have even more socials. Are there any of the other social platforms you want to mention?
I mean, if you're following YouTube, that's the big one, right? That's where we do a lot of our Tamer talks and stuff like that. But in case you're not always on YouTube waiting for the next update or whatever, and you're more inclined to use other platforms, we're on Facebook as well. You can find us World of Wildhearts there. We're on X with at Wildhearts TCG. We're also on Instagram, same thing there. So. Yeah, we try to put out our news everywhere. Instagram gets a little funky at times, so if that's your primary one, like the videos and stuff like that won't always be like posted there, like links to them, because they don't like that for some reason. So, but Facebook and X are definitely the bigger ones. I like to use Facebook personally, just because I can post on it and do like comments and stuff like that a lot easier than maybe X can. So that's a personal preference though. But we're everywhere. Like I try to make us everywhere as possible. and always open to adding more in the future. So, got to be flexible with them socials out there, because you don't know which one's going to be the big popular one this month. So just
That's
might as well cover all bases.
Yes. Well, thank you so much for checking this episode out, and we will see you in the next one.
Bye bye.